This is the easiest strategy you will find on YouTube. It's made me hundreds of thousands of dollars. It works on stocks, options, and futures, and it only uses 3 simple lines. You can see I have 2 black lines here, 1 purple line, and it is by far so easy. It's so simple. It takes about 30 minutes a day, and it simply just works. You can see some of my students have been crushing it. Kyle has made some money with it. David, nice TLM, stands for triple line method. That's the name of the strategy. John made money. Tanner went 2 for 3. Hector made money. Stan made about $20,000 with about a 5.6 risk reward trading it. Richard made money on it. Jamie went 2 for 3. Isaac made money trading SPY, triple line method. Pierre made money. And this was all from yesterday. Okay. And this goes on forever and ever and ever. Tons of proof. And this strategy is responsible for literally making me a full-time trader. Okay. And what I want to do in this video is show you guys how to trade it, why it works, so you guys can make money as well and use it for yourself, okay? Now, the basis of the strategy is really simple. Like I said, there's only about 3 lines, 2 black lines, 1 purple line, and all these levels or all these lines are found using an indicator here called TLM levels, all right? Now, I'll show you at the end of the video how to get access to these levels. It's a script that I made. These are very specific levels, very proprietary to how I made them. They're not just random support resistance levels. You can't find them anywhere else. I created the strategy called triple line method. So stick around to the end of the video. I'll show you how to get that. But it's very, very simple. Okay, it's going to plot these 3 lines every single day. All right, and I can show you as I'm currently doing this, it has the previous days. And typically when I trade, I like to look at these pre-market. I'll turn these 2 bullet points on. It'll only show me the lines for that day, right? So obviously there's no more lines here. But for the purposes of this, I'm going to go ahead and turn that off so you can see the levels for every single day. All right. Now, QQQ, I'm going to go ahead and just draw these out for you so I can show you how it works, right? So 3 levels. I'm just going to extend these out. So we're going to go ahead, extend it out. We're going to look at this day here because what you want to do with these levels is you actually use the previous days. Okay, so I'm going to draw those out. Going to put this midline in like that, make that a different color. Perfect. Okay, and then I'm going to turn this off. All right, so these were the levels for this day, which means we would trade them using this day here, okay, which is about Thursday. All right, so we're going to assume that this is when we're trading them. We have 3 different levels here. Market opens below these 3 levels. Okay, now how does this strategy actually work? Okay, I'm going to show you a few different examples, but first I want to show you the instruction manual on basically how to trade this, how to make money in the first 30 minutes of the market being open, right? Now there's 3 levels. Okay, the first 2, or sorry, the top one and the bottom one, the black levels, those are the most important, okay? The mid-level, and I call it mid-level even though it's not always in the middle. This purple level is not as important, okay? I sometimes use it for targets. It's really not that key. The main thing you want to look at is these 2 black levels here. Now, when it comes to these levels, I like to call them a zone, okay? And so typically what I'll do sometimes, I'll kind of draw like an actual like box inside of that. So I can identify if we're inside the zone or out of the zone, right? Because price can only be one of 2 things. It's either going to be inside or in between these 2 black levels, or it's going to be below it or above it, all right? I'm just going to call it the zone to make it really easy, really simple for you, all right? Now, before I actually get into this trade here, let me just draw it out and kind of show you how this works, okay? So we have our 2 black levels. They're going to look like this. We have our 1 purple level like this, all right? Now, how does this actually work? So price, let's say, because price is either going to do 2 things. You're going to open up inside the zone or open up outside the zone, right? So let's say price opens up outside the zone, like in the example above, right? Let's say price opens up below it, okay? Now, the way this strategy works is really simple. These levels here are not support resistance levels, okay? Very important to understand. They are not support resistance. Now, sometimes they will act as it, and you'll see that there's good bounces or resistance levels at these prices, but that's not how you want to trade them, right? I trade them like a rotation. Simply what that means is if price starts outside the zone, what we want to see happen is price get inside the zone, okay? And once price gets inside the zone, that's when we have confirmation that price is going to go to the other side of the zone. That's all it is, okay? It is super simple. Like I said, I'm looking at it on the QQQ chart. You could trade this on NASDAQ futures. You could trade options, stocks, shares, whatever. But that's as simple as it's going to be. So imagine this purple line isn't here. We'll worry about that later. You simply wait for price to go inside the zone. You look to get long, and then you target the other side here, okay? And stop losses we'll get into later in the video. But that's essentially it. And with this strategy alone, we've seen an average between all my students, about a 63% win rate, which is pretty good, pretty solid, with an average 1.42 risk reward. Okay, so we're not always going for 2-to-1, not always going for 3-to-1 risk rewards. A lot of times we'll see a setup that looks like this. Maybe we'll be getting in here, put a stop loss there. And we're looking at about 1.42. It would be a trade that looks like this. Okay, really, really simple. Now, let me go ahead and actually show you the example above of how I traded it and how you can make money doing the exact same thing. Now, me personally, I like trading off the 1-minute chart. I think it works best off the 1-minute chart. You can look at the 5-minute if you want, but we're going to go ahead and go down to the 1-minute chart, zoom out and show you how this works. Okay, so you can see right here that price opens up outside of the zone, right? And what I mean by that is we opened up below both of these triple line method levels. All right, so either bottom level, upper level, and our mid level here. Now, what does price do? Price, we go inside, and at this point, we know that we want, or we expect price to come to this other level. Again, that is the edge in the strategy. Every strategy needs an edge. Our edge with the strategy is the confidence and confirmation that as soon as price gets above this level here, there is a high probability that price is going to go to this level here, okay? And that's all it is, right? I'm not sitting here saying price is going to go here and then bounce and then go back and then go this way and this way and this way. That's not what trading is, right? All of trading, all of the way that I trade is that if price does this, there's a good chance this will happen, okay? And that is my edge in trading, and that is what allowed me to become a full-time trader and make a whole bunch of money doing this, right? So what does price do? Is price comes inside, so you look to get long somewhere, as you know, let's say on this candle here, when we get inside, you just put your stop loss below low, target the highs, and that would be a nice 1.3 risk reward trade. Okay. Now I'll get into specifics in a little bit about how to actually enter, how to actually exit, and kind of how that works. But I want to show you a few other examples, and then we'll get in the actual like entry model of how this actually works. Okay. But very, very simple, right? I don't like to look at anything else besides this. And that's it. That's the other thing about this strategy is once price goes from one side to the other side, that is it. There's no more trades to be done, okay? Could price technically come back inside and then rotate back down to the other level? Yes. Do I want to trade it? No. You essentially get one trade a day on each stock that this is trading on, and if you miss the opportunity, you miss it. There's no other reason, no other time to actually trade it, okay? It's as simple as that. So let me go ahead and show you another example over here on SPY, all right? So if we go over here to SPY, we'll go ahead and let me find a good example here. Let's see. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and look at SPY. We're actually going to look at yesterday's price action. So again, you use yesterday's levels to look at today's price action. That's what we're going to do. So I'm just going to go ahead and extend this level out like so, just like this. We'll be looking at this price action day here, just like that. So let me go ahead and mark this up, and then we'll go ahead and turn this off like so, okay? So these are the levels that we're looking at for the day. Let me go to the 1-minute chart, okay? Now in this instance, price does something different, right? Price actually opens up inside of this zone. Okay, remember I have this zone that's in between those levels. So price actually opens up inside the zone. So how do we trade it when price opens up inside the zone? Well, let me show you again another example of how this is going to work. It's a little bit different than the other version when price opened up outside of the zones, but this one it's relatively the same. Okay, so let's say price opens up inside. Okay, and price bounces around for a little bit open, right? We don't know what's going to happen. The way you trade this is simple. Okay, you simply wait for price to go outside of the zone and then back inside, and then you do the same thing as the first example, right? So when price starts outside, it comes back inside. That's when you look for price to go rotate down to the other side or the other side of the zone. Okay, price just goes from level to level, from line to line every single day. It's not 100% accurate, okay? Nothing is ever 100%, but this is essentially how the strategy works, okay? And it can work both ways. On bullish, bearish, price can start inside, we come down. Once we come back inside, we look for a move to that other level, all right? Now, where does that happen on this day here? Okay, so again, these were the previous day's levels, auto plotted on the indicator here. We have our upper level, our lower level, and our mid level here, all right? Now, what does price do? Price starts inside. We have about 4 or 5 minutes of consolidation. We come back, we just pop out, just take a little peek outside of our zone, right? Price is discovering, does it want to go above the zone? Does it not want to? And we see a lot of sellers come in, price immediately gets shut down, okay? Now, then what does price do? We bounce right off our mid-level, okay? We come back up, we pull back, and this would be a beautiful opportunity to get into a short, put your stop loss right above the high, and then target right down here at this lower level. Boom, 2.2 our trade, just like that, okay? Simple. And this was all within about the first 30 minutes of market open. You can see Right here, 10 a.m. is when we actually hit our target. And you could have been done within the first 30 minutes of market simply trading this exact strategy. Now, I want to show you one more example, and then I'll get into the actual like entries, stop losses, targets, the mid-level, all that stuff. But this other example is going to be on Nvidia, okay? Now, same exact thing, okay? What do we see on Nvidia? We have our levels that are here from yesterday. So let me go ahead, draw these out. So we have that level, this other level. I'm going to just not even draw the mid-level. It's not that urgent right now. Get rid of that, and there we go, okay? So same thing. What does price do? We open up below our zone, right? Price goes inside of the zone. We look to get long. Where does price go, or where is our edge? We expect price to go right to the other side at that level, and that's it. Once price goes from line to line, the strategy is done, the trade is done, the edge is gone. We don't care what happens, okay? Could price just, again, use this as resistance and then go back down? Yes. Could price just go right past it and keep going up? Yes. We don't care. I just like to get in, take my money, get out. Again, all within about the first 30 minutes of the market being open, or first hour sometimes, and that's how I like to trade, okay? Now, let me talk about the mid-level for a second, because that's really important, as well as actual entries, stop losses, targets, all that stuff. And then I'll get into actually how to get access to these levels, how to trade them, and what stocks you want to use these on, right? So when it comes to SPY or Qs or any stock you're trading, now the mid-level itself is really just a target zone, okay? So let's say in this example here, you're able to get short right in this candle right down here, okay? So let's say you got short right around here. You could put your stop loss right above the high. Now, the mid-level is going to act as a target. Now, if you have a good risk reward, typically what I like to do is take, 1R or take 50%, 60, 70% off at that mid-level, okay? A lot of times it's going to act as a target, and that's all I use it for, okay? You only want to use it as a target. Don't use it as support resistance. Don't use it as anything else. Yes, sometimes it'll act as a good resistance, it'll act as support or whatever, but I only want to use it as a target. And so this example would be pretty good. You can see price comes down, bounces right off it, comes back up, and we eventually go back lower, right? Now, stop losses, entries, and targets are really important. Now, the targets in this trade are really simple, right? If price comes out, we come back inside our zone, you obviously want to target the other level down here, okay? So targets, boom, should be easy. Don't really need to spend too much time on that. Now, entries and stop losses can be a little bit different, right? Stop losses, typically, depending on where we open up, you'd want to put it right above the high, or use some sort of other price action to kind of determine that, right? So if I'm looking at QQQ, for example, price opens below here, we come back inside. Let's say I decide to get long, on this candle down here as we pull back, right? Let's say I get a really good entry, get in right here. Where do I want to put my stop loss, right? The first thing you want to look at is risk reward, right? So if I know my target's going to be here, where can I put my stop loss to get a good risk reward? Now, obviously, I like going for minimum 1-to-1s. So that would mean I would want my stop loss at a maximum point to be right here. Like it's right around the low of day. It's actually not bad. But let's see if we can actually make that better. Now, the one thing and the one misconception a lot of people get about the triple line method and why they tend to get this wrong is that, again, these levels are not support resistance levels. They're not stop loss levels. Okay, they can be targets. They 100% are targets, but they're not stop loss levels. So you never want to put your stop loss like right below the level or right at the level, okay? Because price sometimes can come back out a little bit and then go back in, all right? Now, the way I like to put my stop losses is looking at other pieces of price action, okay? And so with that, I tend to look at supply and demand as my main indicator for that. Now, if you know supply and demand, or if you don't know supply and demand, check out my videos. I have a bunch of other them. I'll leave some links in the description. I've made millions of videos on them. But you can see there's a pretty solid 1 minute demand zone right here. So what I would have done in this situation, if I was getting long, is get in right around here, put my stop loss right below that low, target the other level, and that's looking at about a 1.4R trade. Not bad. Not too bad at all, especially with a 63% win rate on average, okay? Now, entries are a little bit different, right? So stop losses we got covered, targets we got covered. Entries are a little bit different because you might get in a scenario where you're looking at QQQ and you could have said, well, Jordan, if you look right here, we got in the zone for like probably 15 seconds at this point, right? So how do I know? Do I get long here? Do I wait for 1 minute candle close? Do I wait till we're all the way up here? And the main thing with this is you want to wait for acceptance. All right, and acceptance simply means time and volume. It's a little bit hard to explain in simply one video. I can probably make another video on it, but essentially you want to see that price has accepted into the zone. And what that means is you want to wait for price to say, okay, we actually have spent time in the zone. We have spent a decent amount of volume in the zone. And it's obvious at this point that price wants to get into it, right? So in this example here, I probably wouldn't have gotten into this trade at any of this time here, okay? Because I would have realized, well, price could come inside for 1-2 minutes and then bounce back out. And you don't want to get into that. Now, at what point would I have said, okay, this is something I want to get into? Probably right around this period here, right? What does price do? We come all the way out into the middle of the zone. We have about 4 or 5 minutes of consolidation. At this point, it's pretty obvious price has accepted being in the zone. Price wants to be inside of this trip line method zone, right? So at this point, I now know that there's a high chance price is going to go to this level right here. Once I have that understanding, I can now set up a trade to do that. And again, you want to use your stop losses and your targets first to help determine your entry. So if I know, for example, my target's going to be here, I know a good stop loss would be right below this demand zone, then all you have to do is figure out what kind of risk reward you want, right? So if I knew I wanted about a 1-to-1 risk reward, which is right here, I could just simply enter to any of these candles here. If I was going for a better risk reward, like 1.5, then I would say I would have waited for a dip on this candle here. I would have got a nice 1-to-5 risk reward. If I wanted to say, Jordan, I want to go for a 2-to-1 risk reward on all my trades, that would have been right around here, and I wouldn't have gotten an entry on this trade, and that's okay. At the end of the day, you got to figure out what risk rewards you want to go for, but the key thing here to understand is that you want to wait for acceptance, right? You don't want to go in the first minute, just goes inside the zone, because you may get caught a few times, okay? Same thing here, right? If I'm looking at this action on SPY, price comes out, and then this 1 minute we come back in, I don't necessarily want to get short right when that happens, okay? You want to wait for price action to tell you that it's going to confirm your trade. How do I know that's happened here? Well, price peaked out. We came all the way back down here, right? We had a huge strong move lower. We were able to break structure of this low. So again, using price action to my advantage, we broke a low. That shows us we're in a downtrend. Sellers are in control. Then I can simply wait for a pullback, find a good risk reward, right? So if I know my stop loss is going to be above that high, my target's going to be down here, I could have got short pretty much anywhere in this area here, right? If I was going for a 2-to-1, I would have got filled right here. If I was going for 1.5, would have got filled right here on this candle, okay? I simply get in, set my stop, set my target, automate my trading. That's a whole separate video in itself we can get to later. Automate your trading, stop loss, target, and then that's it. I'm in the trade. I'm out of the trade within the first 30 minutes. In, out. I don't go for crazy runs. I don't hold for a crazy move. I'm not going for that, okay? I'm simply going to get in, take my piece of the move, get out with a good risk reward, a good win rate, and that's it. And that is essentially the triple line method. That is how myself and my students have been able to make tons and tons of cash simply trading this. You can see Tanner made money off it. Scott, a few days ago, was trading Tesla TLM, made 74%. You can see he has this white level here. He has this upper level here, in blue. Price goes above. He got in, had a nice risk reward, and got out right as price went to the other level. Okay, this happens every single day, time in, time out. It's not 100%. But you can see that it's a pretty good opportunity, really easy strategy that my students have been using for days on end to make tons and tons of cash simply trading this. Now, you may be wondering, Jordan, how do I get access to the triple line method? How do I learn more about it? How do I get access to this actual indicator? Where do I find this? And that's a really good question. And the answer to that is that right now for this indicator, it's only access to my one-on-one mentorship students. Okay, and that is our full one-on-one program where we will help you become a consistently profitable trader in just 8 weeks without any alerts and without trading more than an hour a day. So what I'm going to do, if you are interested in getting access to this and learning about how to get coached one-on-one by me and my whole team, is I'm going to leave a link to a free training video down below. Okay, and that training video is going to look something like this. You're going to see this page. You're going to click access free training now. It's going to take you to a short video where I show you exactly what my 3-phase system is and how we've been able to help over 500 traders become profitable in just 8 weeks using this exact system without any alerts, without trading more than an hour a day, both for stocks, options, and futures. And we recently started helping out Forex traders as well. So there's a lot of people in here that can make money from it simply using this strategy. Okay, so I highly recommend you click the link in the description, check out that video below. It's going to show you information about my strategy, how to get access. After watching that video, you'll have an opportunity to hop on a call with someone from my team where we can help you out, see if you're a good fit for the mentorship, and then eventually get you trading the strategy and catching a ton of cash with the rest of the team, because we have been absolutely crushing it. Okay, so with that being said, I hope you guys did enjoy this video. Leave a like, check out the free training down below, subscribe, and we'll see you all in the next video.